He kōna ipurangi tēnei nā te reo irirangi o Aotearoa.
Tukua, 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 tukua hi.
Nau mai, haere mai, and welcome to Tukua, an intergenerational arts podcast presented by 75-year-old arts activist and academic Ngāhuia Te Awi Kōtuku.
Extraordinary, fun, distracting, inspirational, uneven, but very happy I went.
Gen X sculptor Brett Graham.
Usually in that section you have a lot of whānau who've appropriated imagery from Māori, and that to me is more problematic.
And 24-year-old stand-up comedian Kura Turuwhenua.
I've never been to it before. I feel like I've seen the ads for it in the airport, like all the time, and like not once been like, yeah, I'm gonna go to that.
Each episode, one of us chooses an arts event and makes the others come too. So what could possibly go wrong? Oh, and then there's me, Catherine Graham, the producer. I get to keep them all in line. This week's episode, we go to the preview show of WoW, the World of Wearable Arts. WoW is in its 20th year and is a major event in the capital city's calendar.
Tukua, tukua hi.
So here we are at the preview show of WoW. So no awards given out yet. Ngāhuia, what are you looking forward to the mostest?
Oh, where do I start? I've admired it from afar. I've missed out for years and years and years because this time of year I've either been working or overseas or somewhere else, and I've always wanted to come. Why? I recall Moncrief Susie.
Dame Susie.
Dame Susie, saying something like, it's a way of taking art off the walls. And displaying it or celebrating it on people's bodies. And yet the bodies are part of the art. And of course that intrigues me as a Māori, because for us, our skin is our adornment. And it's not something we can ever take off. You know, once you've got ink, it's there forever. And that is wearable art in the most ancient and enduring sense. What I really look forward to, though, because this is shifting from the arcane and the sacred and the Māori dimension into 2025, is that with wearable art, there's the opportunity for fun, frivolity, celebration, exploration, outrage, politics, colour.
Kia ora kura.
Kia ora.
So your very first WoW, and how are you feeling about it? What are you expecting to see?
I feel like I'm actually gonna enjoy it because I think that costume and like fashion design, I really love it in movies, and I feel like the crossover would be pretty cool. Like, I'm actually real interested, especially because I've never been to it before. Feels like it'll be exciting and like maybe weird and interesting, and I'm sure that they'll have like heaps of resources and effort and like, what's the word, direction in it.
This was Brett's choice. He had previously been a judge for WoW in 2023.
Well, I was really excited to be asked to judge it. It was completely out of my comfort zone because I don't know a great deal about fashion and the world of fashion. However, it crosses over into the world of art, so they've always made a point of inviting judges who are artists or sculptors or connected to the art world. And it's quite interesting because Dame Susie, the founder, talks about how she established it after kind of being snobbed by the art world. And so this was her creation or her response to that. It draws on the art world, it draws on entertainment, it draws on just the fantastic spectacle of seeing really well-crafted garments. Now Meg Williams has taken over and she was the director of the Wellington Festival. So I'm looking forward to seeing her spin on it.
Tukua after the WoW. Ngā huia, your thoughts?
Really grateful that we came.
Best bit?
Oh, definitely the final section. Absolutely, myths and legends.
Kia ora. And kura, your very first WoW.
Yeah, it was freaking gangsters. I think the last section as well was my favourite. But the Māori artist was actually like real cool. Yeah, no, I was real into it.
Kia ora. And Brady, your second WoW.
Yeah, no, it's spectacular. And I like the last section as well. It was Myths and Legends. So, yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Tukua, Tukua, he.
Tukua reconvened to discuss the preview show the next afternoon. And Brett, this is your second WoW experience, and the first time you attended, as we've heard, you were a judge. How does this WoW compare to the last time you were here?
Oh, I loved it. It was so spectacular. I was quite invested in the last one as a judge. So it was quite a different experience. But I was quite overwhelmed the first time because I didn't know what to expect. I thought it was going to be like a fashion show. And of course it's fashion, it's art and it's performance. So that's why it was quite mind-blowing.
The first time?
The first time, yeah. It's been in Wellington for 20 years. And as we see from the Matatini experience, Nelson can only handle a certain amount of people. So it's been great to move it here. And it's so international now, like so many entrants are from Asia, from India, from all over the world, a lot of entrants from the States. So it's become this big deal. So it has to be either in Auckland or Wellington.
Yeah.
But it brings in so much money for Wellington. I mean, they literally depend on it.
This year they had 85 finalists with 100 designers' work, so clearly there was collabs, and they were from 17 countries. Apparently the World of Wearable Arts attracts girl gangs, which are what someone called the groups of women who can be seen shopping around Wellington during the WoW season, because of course this show goes for 2 weeks. So they're part of the money coming into the city as well. But there were a lot of women at the show last night, weren't there, Kura?
Yeah, there were so many women, and they're all like dressed up for the show as well, which I found real like cute, that people would come and like use it as an opportunity to put on like nice fancy clothes or like outfits and things, to the point that there were some moments I was like, is this like, are you part of the show? Or I was like getting confused.
We didn't go to the awards night show. We were very lucky in that we got a bit of a VIP treatment. We got taken into a special little hideaway room and given a drink, and we were greeted by a very tall person in some kind of floral outfit.
And they're fully painted green and looked like they're wearing flower wallpaper. And they took us behind a curtain and through this like little maze of clothes racks, and I was like, where are we going right now? We're going to end up in an alleyway or something. But it ended up being this really cute little bar thing that they set up. It was almost like a fortune teller's room.
Yeah,
like
it was
velvet curtains and
Alice in Wonderland too, didn't it? And they also had these weird little, like those old school fake candy cigarettes that I haven't seen. Spaceman things. That was crazy.
and
fortune cookies.
And fortune cookies and pretzels.
Yeah, so that was our introduction to the show, and we were very lucky. We met with Meg Williams, who is the CEO, and we met with Tāne Mahuta Gray, who's part of the team that works on the aerial choreography, and they were talking to us through what we were going to see, which was really nice. I also spoke to Malia Johnston, WOW's director, and Eden Mulholland, the musical director, the day before.
The show is called Rise, and that word was chosen because it's 20 years since we landed in Wellington, and that the city has risen in support of the creativity of that particular show. So we called it Rise, and we wanted to metaphorically celebrate this concept by bringing new artists into the space, rising in their career trajectory in celebration of a community gathering around that concept of upholding creativity. So the show centres around the competition. So the competition has 6 sections, and artists from anywhere in the world can enter the competition to exhibit their work that gets selected for the show. So anything where the art piece is on the body, and then we take that piece and create a spectacle in relationship to that exhibition and uphold and platform that person's work. And so that's been the vision right from the beginning, but I guess over the years the sort of elements have grown, the technology has grown, the artistry has lifted, and we have a collision of art forms, so light, music, dance is a big part, aerial, architecture and set design all colliding together in a very energetic explosion and celebration of those artists' work. There's 6 sections this year, so we have the open section, which is anything goes, avant-garde, which is taking an element of fashion and tipping it on its head into wearable art. We have air, so a section that explores air in whatever way the artist wants to interpret that. Aotearoa section, and then we have the other 2, neon, so the colours of neon or however the artist want to work with that, and then myths and legends is the final section.
And Eden, in terms of the work that you're doing with the show, are you allowed to just run wild and free, or do you have to? What are the constraints around any of the work that you this music, soundscape, whatever that you're creating?
I pretty much do roam free with it, with the understanding that it needs to be in line with all the other elements and the direction of the show and the themes. But within that, there's great scope for finding interesting and exciting music and songs for amazing artists, yeah.
And so to the winners of the 6 sections and the supreme winner, bearing in mind this was news to our panel. So the winner of the avant-garde section is Void.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the winner, which was pretty amazing.
Like that one.
Yeah. So do you want to describe that one and why you liked it, Ngahuia?
It's a series of circular monochrome fabrics, the monochrome in greys and blacks, with a massive parabola around the head, which is dense black. But around the model's body are these great coiling stripes and curves of flat metal, and intersecting all the metal was this amazing silvery grey, dark storm cloud fabric. And so when she moved, the entire apparition spun like a cloud and just had lots and lots of levels of movement, of rhythm, of capturing the light.
We'll go now to the open section. So obviously, because Mein Erster Liebe was the runner-up, that was the winner of the open section. And then the runner-up for that was the Music Within. So just for our listeners, and if you're not going to see the show, the Music Within there's 2 parts to it. There's a woman in this beautiful sort of silver ball gowny kind of thing. And then she's got like a organic shape, and then behind that was is that person playing a cello?
She's got a cello.
Yeah, playing the cello, and then this piece would roll around the stage, and then at different moments the cellist would play the cello. So it was kind of lots of moving parts.
Yeah, it kind of like opened up to reveal the cello.
Yeah, because the little person cellist was covered originally in that long black iridescent cape of metallic
is that
fibre.
what that is?
And it covered her so that when the principal character glided out in her metallic crinoline with the upside-down flower pot
on her head,
eventually the black was rolled back.
Oh,
and
that's
you saw
right.
this little creature, this small person, adult woman, but child-sized, playing the cello.
I'm not gonna lie, it reminded me of the movie Robots, where like
Okay.
it's like an animated movie, and it's in a world where they're all robots, but one of them is this old lady, and her ass is like the boot of a car, and it, like sometimes it like opens up, and like,
stuff comes
yeah,
out.
exactly, and that's what it made me think of.
Okay. And the winner of the Aotearoa section is the Teletubby one.
The tell-
Born Landscape, Kushla O'Connell.
wow.
Yeah, that's the winner. And
No.
yeah, and it says
No.
yes. Okay, so that's not that popular in this room because it also won the Weta Workshop Award for Outstanding Design.
No.
Yeah, but the landscape image on the gown is made from 6,000 upcycled buttons.
Oh, far out.
So
Is that-
you can't really tell that, can
No.
you?
With those big, fat, ugly white feet.
Okay, let's move
White
on.
gumboots.
And
Looks
the-
like a freezing worker. Freezing worker
Nothing wrong
gumboots.
with freezing workers.
I know, but and the back, the front penguin.
Okay, so clearly not very popular with
No, not
some
at
members
all.
of our panel. And the
No
runner-up,
hands.
you love this
No
even more,
hands.
Ngahuia. The runner-up is Whare Miere.
Oh, God.
Honey House.
Yeah,
Honey House.
which is, of course, for those that haven't seen it, a Māori reinterpreting of the beehive. I spoke to Felicity Collier about her design.
It's made out of macrame cord, and there's a kilometre of macrame cord in it, and hula hoops. So it has the physical shape of the beehive. However, I tried to incorporate Te Ao Māori designs like ko whaiwhai, and there's piu piu. So it's like, what place does haka have in Parliament? And obviously we've seen what place that has. And my mother, she was an amazing craft person. She did macrame. My father, he can weave. His grandmother taught him weaving. And so I used macrame, but I wanted to make it look like muka. So I've looked at traditional rāranga and tried to fuse it together in a contemporary way where I still have the elements of rāranga, but it represents both halves of me, my mother and my father.
Yeah, I loved Whare Miere because of the way the model did like little shaking, almost like what's that word, like when you move your shoulders like back and forth, and the effect it had just reminded me of like manu when they're in water and they're like washing themselves and they shake off
And they
their
shake the
feathers.
water off.
Yeah, that's what it made me
Shimmery
think
and
of.
shaky.
Yeah, she was sort of shimmying.
She was shimmying.
Yeah.
The air section, the winner of that is Woe Bulan by Faris Farusham. There's a Malaysian entry. It's kind of like a really beautiful butterfly. For me, this was the least successful
Yeah,
for me in
it
terms
was
of
difficult.
interpreting air.
Yeah.
The two things that I thought were very airy were the two white circus artists that came down towards the end of the work, and they were very floaty and weightless, but I just it wasn't, to me it didn't quite work as a section.
And the whole section, because the guy was on the trampoline the whole time,
eh?
doing flips, and it was like I like kept on watching him, like, oh, he did 3 flips in a row, but you're like meant to be looking at the clothes and stuff, and I'm like watching this guy counting how many flips in a row he was doing.
Yeah, I was looking at that too.
Tukua.
Okay, so the next one is the neon section, which I think was pretty arresting overall. And the winner for that is Drift. And that was pretty amazing. But is it very neon-y
Well, it wasn't as neon-y as a couple of other,
of the works?
yeah.
And the runner-up is this one called Strawy.
It's the one they've used as the cover image for that section. Usually they kind of give it away who they want to win by the ones they've chosen.
So the last section, which I think I enjoyed the most in some respects, is Myths and Legends. And the winner, of course, for that one is the supreme winner, Suku Mogami. And the runner-up is called Don't Be Afraid, which was spectacular. I spoke to Judge Linda Lepo about why they chose Suku Mogami as the supreme winner.
With the supreme winner, there was a conversation about a couple of garments, and the reason why that for me was my choice, my decision, was because ultimately at the end of the day, what is wearable arts about today? And where is it going today? The supreme winner, whoever it is, it ultimately does represent what the organisation is and what that kaupapa means and represents today. Not yesterday, not last year, not 20 years ago. And the supreme winner should always indicate where wearable arts is actually going. So when you think about the winner, it was referencing and paying homage to ancient history in terms of pottery and also culture, these ancient cultures who pioneered these unique art forms and art practices that we still practice today and have really evolved in their own right. Then you have that translated into a fashion performance wearable garment. That piece was my pick because it ticked all the boxes and it represented this question mark that we have as a society.
When I saw it, my immediate response was, oh my goodness, Marquez and Tattoo.
I don't even remember
from the
it.
audience perspective,
Yeah.
you couldn't really see.
With the winners, I think both of them I actually did find really stood out to me. Like Sukumogami, I remember thinking, oh, that's so weird. In the coolest way. Like, I really enjoyed seeing the way that the models would like embody what their garments were, and for that one I definitely got the idea of fine china and vases.
Awesome, because that's exactly...
That's the point.
Yeah.
Next up, the winner of the inaugural Māori Award, Te Tohu Toi Rākei. I spoke to Judge Isaac Te Awa.
So the award was created to celebrate excellence of Māori art, be that traditional or contemporary, in the wearable art form. And it was really important to us to look for an entry, because this is the first time that this award has been given, that celebrates Māori creativity and artistic excellence, but is also based in whakapapa, in taonga, and pūrākau, and those things that are really important to Māori as well. It was important to us to recognise that Māori art can take many forms, and that spectrum or that continuum that we talk about of traditional to the contemporary, that people felt safe to express themselves in that way, shape, or in those art forms as well.
I'm amazed that there's only 2 entries into this category, considering how many of our people are artists. Why do you think that is?
So part of it is building it so that our people can come to WoW. We had more eligible entries of people who had whakapapa Māori into WoW, but we need to do work around building their confidence in terms of being secure to stand in their own whakapapa, but also recognising that Māori art isn't any one thing. And I really do expect that we will start to see more in the future, because there is an appreciation for that and there's a place for it. And we want to celebrate it. So the winner is a piece called Ko Au Te Harakeke, Ko Harakeke Ko Au. So I am the Harakeke and the Harakeke is me. And it is a beautiful piece of rāranga. And being a weaver too, I am very aware how long this would have taken.
Complexity of the
and the
work.
complexity of the work. One, it exemplifies an art form that our people recognise as Māori. So it wasn't an exclusive requirement that it be from a traditional art form for the first time, but I think it's really nice that visibly that the first time a Māori award is given to a Māori in WoW, that it is made from a medium that our people really recognise and see the value of. And I think that's a beautiful thing. But to see it on a wahine elevated in this form too, that she's beautiful and that she's wearing it, that we can all be familiar, that we can see this art form that can really show how special and beautiful our people can be, is, yeah. So it's been incredible from that perspective.
Ko Harakeke Ko Au was maybe one of my favourite pieces of the whole show.
Cool.
Yeah, I thought it was so elegant and beautiful, and I adore the umbrella. Like, I felt if I saw someone on the street wearing that, I would just be mesmerised by it.
I spoke to Anna Moyo, the designer of Ko Au, Ko Harakeke Ko Au. What are the things that you're mostly trying to get across with this work?
How our connectedness, how there is one planet and we are one with her. You know, we're connected to all things, both seen and unseen, to each other. how we react has a flow-on effect to everyone and everything. So this piece to me felt like a nice visual, and it's ancient. These are ancient philosophies that are shared across many Indigenous cultures, and I just wanted people to realise, in amongst all the hara, that there is love, and love is a thing that actually I guess is, well, I just love to weave, and people see and feel that connectedness, I hope, in the mahi.
We could talk a little bit more about the integration of Māori elements into WoW.
There were times where some sections would have Māori elements in them, like Waiata Māori, and I didn't always, I don't know if it was my hearing or I couldn't always understand what they were saying, but it might just because I couldn't hear what they were saying. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Diction or
maybe
hearing?
diction?
I think that there was a really sloppy and negligent use of the Māori language, and that quite concerned me. What was interesting is that when the male soloist sang in Samoan, the diction was perfect.
Well,
and
he
yet,
is Samoan.
Yeah. And yet the Māori language...
And you sang in Italian really
and
well.
Italian too, some dorma, but it was really noticeable to me, and there was another vocalist who seemed slightly off-key most of the time.
There were a
The
couple of
male
vocalists that were quite off-key, yeah.
Well, I know that Meg has been very conscious of including Māori elements. It doesn't necessarily reflect us and the wider Pacific. You think of this fantastic tradition of performance and kākahu in other islands in the Pacific. So in Melanesia, for example, you think of New Britain, New Ireland, they have these amazing 40-foot tapa costumes, that where they have these parades, and Papua New Guinea, Melanesia, you think of the wider Pacific.
And we've all got our own festivals, right?
And the wider Pacific hasn't really been embraced in that way.
There are so many amazing Pacifica, Moana, Māori creatives that could...
Well, you look at Matatini and how they're bursting to break into other forms of costumes. and
away from traditional.
And then, and the whole incorporation of kākahu, the spectacle performance go hand in hand. And
so more work to be done.
They had some issues with some of the singers not being quite on time and so on, but I'm sure that will resolve itself. They talk about how each show is different, and the show that I was involved in had the space theme, and everything was kind of generated around space imagery, and then the theme of Rise is sort of quite ambiguous.
Yes.
So it kind of, to me, it kind of felt ambiguous, like it wasn't clear. There wasn't a clear link between all of the sections. Like Rise can be anything inspirational. But as I say, it kind of feels slightly uncomfortable, slightly un-New Zealand to be immersed in that much spectacle. But maybe that's why we love it, because it is, as I say, a combination of all those elements, and it blows you away. The glamour, the spectacle of it.
I arrived expecting to experience sensory overload. I really wanted to be blown away, to be excited, stimulated, all of that. And parts of it did that, but most of it didn't. I expected glamour, and sometimes it manifested. There was glamour on stage. There was beauty, there was action, lights, sound. Because we were there at the preview, we can accept that there would need to be a lot more improving and learning from that first big show, because it was their first big show. So I accept that. I wanted to come out feeling that I'd seen something really amazing, really original, really memorable. And for me, the two that had that impact, the two that were the standouts, were the Taniwha skeleton legend of Yonmungandra, the rather wonderful, supple and incredibly simple skeletal form, and of course balancing that, the superb Aztec Mayan feather, glittery, fabulous confection of the feathered serpent. Yeah, I'm really glad I went and really grateful for the opportunity. I tell people to go.
And there you have it, the WoW experience through the Tukua lens.
Tukua, Tukua.
E whai ake nei, unutai e. Tukua goes to Te Wai Pounamu. Tukua was made with support from the Creative New Zealand, New Zealand On Air and RNZ Arts and Culture Podcast Co-Fund. The creative producer is me, Kath Graham. Line producer is Parihui Makai. On location recording by Kahukura Royal. Strategic advisors Yana Tinahu Owen and Rosabelle Tan. Ngā mihi to RNZ Podcasts Justin Gregory and studio operators Hannah White and Rangi Poick. Follow and listen to Tukua wherever you get your podcasts. Mā te wā!